Oslo is the capital city of Norway and is considered to be one of the safest cities to live in within Europe. It's known for its culture and abundance of museums. In this video, I've listed the top 5 tourist attractions you have to visit in Oslo. So to ensure you have a better experience when you visit Oslo as a tourist, I recommend you guys download or purchase the Oslo Pass. The Oslo Pass is sort of like a tourist card. It gives you entry into loads of museums and attractions throughout Oslo, as well as giving you free unlimited travel on all the public transport throughout the city. And the public transport in the city is pretty good, so I definitely recommend making use of it. You also get discounts on restaurants and sort of sightseeing tours as well, so definitely worth purchasing. You can purchase it in 24-hour, 48 or 72-hour intervals, and I think it's about 250 kroner for 24 hours, 450 kroner for 48 hours, and about 650 for 72 hours. So the current exchange rate is about 11 kroner to a pound, so it works out to about 10-12 pounds per day, so it's not too bad, and you're getting a lot for it as well, so definitely purchase it if you're visiting Oslo. The most iconic location within Oslo has to be the Oslo Opera House, and that's number 1 on my list of top 5 things you have to see within Oslo. As you can see, it's very sort of different from your typical opera house. Usually when you think of opera houses, they're sort of very grand, sort of old classical buildings, whereas the one here in Oslo is very modern. It's got a very unique design. You can walk up the ramps on the side of the building for free, as you can see some people have done over there in the distance, and you can also enter the building for free as well, but if you wanted to get an actual proper tour of the whole place, you do need to pay for it. I've just come to the top of the Opera House, and as you can see, it gives some beautiful views of the whole city of Oslo. You can see it's such a beautiful city with so clean, so pristine, and it's also surrounded by the beautiful OSLOFJORD. It's one of the smaller fjords within Norway, but it's still as amazing as all the other fjords. And yeah, it's definitely worth climbing to the top of the Opera House. It's a very short walk, probably 5 minutes at the most, so yeah, definitely worth it just to get these amazing panoramic views. Number 2 on my list of things you have to see in Oslo is AKERSHUS FESTNIG. AKERSHUS FESTNIG is essentially an old fortress / castle that used to guard Oslo for multiple centuries. It dates back to the 12th century, and as you can see, it's a very fearsome looking structure. AKERSHUS FESTNIG covers a wide area and also includes the Prime Minister's office as well as some offices for the Norwegian Army. The whole area is still actively used by the Norwegian Army, but it is open to the public. I believe it's open between 9 AM and 10 PM every day, but double check that before you come along. And yeah, there's a lot to see around here. There's loads of sort of buildings, there's various parts of the old fortress, such as some cannons that you can visit and take photos by. It's definitely worth visiting, and it's a bit different from the other futuristic parts of Oslo. Behind me we have the 3rd tourist attraction you have to visit whenever you're in Oslo, and that is OSLOFJORD. It's a beautiful fjord, not quite the biggest fjord in Norway. There's loads of fjords out in western Norway which are a lot bigger, but in Oslo this is the fjord to see, and yeah, as you can see, it looks very pretty, and hopefully I'm going to try and get one of these boats to go around the fjord. There's loads of ships and sort of cruises you can take across the fjord, and we're on a ferry right now, which is going to take us to the island of Hovdøya, which is nearby the city centre of Oslo. It's quite a small island. In fact, if you look right there in the distance, you should be able to see it. We've just come to a monastery on the island of Hovdøya, where we had to walk up some narrow steps to get to the top of a tower. How was the walk up?
It's very narrow.
Yeah, it's sort of really narrow, sort of stone steps, and it's very dark. There's no lighting here whatsoever. The only lighting there is sort of the cracks you see in the wooden beam. So yeah, it's a bit dodgy, but we got here. There's decent views out here as well. One thing I recommend when you do this footage, you definitely have to check out one of the islands, whether that's Hovdøya or one of the other islands that are sort of around the whole fjord. You can pick an island by just going to a ticket office and buying a ticket from there, or do your own research and find it to visit. Oslo has a multitude of museums, one of which is the Nobel Peace Centre, and that's number 4 on my must-see tourist list. So for those of you who don't know, the Nobel Prize is a series of prizes that are given in various fields to people who've produced sort of the best work or give the most benefit to sort of mankind in their field for the previous years. Now, the Nobel Prize was named after a guy called Alfred Nobel, who in his will left the money to award these prizes. Alfred Nobel was a Swedish man, and therefore most of the prizes are sort of decided by a Swedish committee, apart from one, which is the Nobel Peace Prize, which is decided by a committee in Norway. And the building behind me, the Nobel Peace Centre, is a museum dedicated to all the people who've sort of won the Nobel Peace Prize. Just came out of the museum, it's definitely worth visiting. It's about 140 krona to enter, 100 krona if you're a student. And it's also free if you have the Oslo pass, so another reason why you should get it. There's lots to see, and yeah, if you're really into your sort of history, especially the history about Nobel Prizes, it's definitely a must-see. So the 5th and final tourist attraction you have to see whenever you're in Oslo is the Norwegian Royal Palace, which is right in front of me. It's at the end of Karl's Johan Gate, which is a major pedestrianised road that goes right from the palace through to sort of the centre of Oslo. So the palace was actually built in 1849, so it's just under 200 years old. It was built for King Charles III, who at the time was the King of Norway and Sweden. The palace isn't that big considering it's a royal palace. Buckingham Palace seems a lot larger. But one thing that does stand out, and I wanted to point out as well, is the relative lack of security compared to like Buckingham Palace and other palaces in England. It seems like you can walk right up to the palace sort of doors, which you can't do in England. I guess that goes to show how safe Norway is as a country compared to the rest of sort of the world. And you can, if you are interested, you can get a guided tour inside the palace, obviously which you have to pay for, but alternatively you can just walk on the grounds and like the gardens around the palace, which are all in sort of pristine shape. So yeah, that's top 5 things you have to do whenever you're in Oslo. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully I've given you a glimpse of what you can get up to whenever you visit the city. Make sure you've subscribed and you've liked this video as well, and keep an eye out for the rest of the videos coming out for my Norway trip. They should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, as always, I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. I'll see you guys in the next one.